There is one place I draw my strength on. I draw my strength from when I'm going through some challenges or some things are happening in my life. That place is that person is Joseph. Joseph. That person is Joseph from the Bible. I draw strength from the story of Joseph most times. I don't know about others, but that story of Joseph speaks a lot to me. So, somebody very close to me did something that really got me upset. But they put on baby for here. Did something that really got me upset. So, I spoke to another person about it. And then recently, the person called to say, how far about that stuff? How did you handle it? Me, I don't have I don't have the capacity to keep something, to bottle up something up here. Because if I do, it makes me unproductive. It keeps me, make me stagnant. That's the word. So when the person called to say, how did you go about that stuff? I said, oh, that one, I beg, I no get time for that one. That one is gone. I've let go. I don't get time for that one. I now made one statement that is making me to do this video today or now. I said to the person, I said, um, there is a way I live my life. For everything that happened to me, good or bad, I always use this word. God has a reason. God has a plan. Because in my life, I have seen that for everything that has happened, later I see the puzzle. I see the puzzle coming together. I see the dots connecting. So for that reason, when some things are happening, even though sometimes it hurts, I feel pain, I feel hurt, I just believe that God has a reason. God has a reason why those things are happening or had happened to me, or like I said to you guys, I draw strength from the story of Joseph and some other Bible characters that we have seen. Joseph, Moses, and the others. Let's take, for example, Joseph. I told the person, I said, I can imagine the Joseph that was sold to Egypt and the Joseph that was in Egypt during the famine time, who was a prime minister. I'm looking at the two. It take a long period for Joseph in his father's house to transition into the Joseph in Egypt. While he was in his father's house, it was a guy with the guy that was really loved by the father, but was hated by his brothers. And then I just, in my mind's eye, I played it and I thought of, okay, this is Joseph in the well. After he has told his brothers on how God has showed him that he's going to be a big man, how God has shown him that he's going to rule over his brothers, how the brothers are going to bow down and worship him, how the mood is stand, whatever are going, After he has told his brothers those dreams, they started jealousing him. You must have spoken to somebody. You must have narrated something to somebody, or some people must have seen you and see the way the grace of God is in your life, and they will start being jealous of you. All they will want to see is you going down. You go down into the well. But what they don't understand is that who God has blessed, no one can curse. Even if they decide to put you into the well, inside that well, God go still raise you. You go still become who you want to become, even inside that place that looks like a well. God knows how he's going to do. He said he'll show mercy to whom he will show mercy. In my mind, I'm looking at Joseph in the well, cold, squeezed, folded in the well like this. Like he was thinking, what are they going to do to me? From the well, inside, while he was inside the well, he could hear his brothers negotiating. Let's buy him. Let's unlife him. No. One of the brothers said, no, why should we allow blood stain our hands when we can make money from this guy? Let's sell him off. Let's give him up to these traders. Let's sell him off. Let them take him to Egypt. Let's see how he's going to become head over us. He was in that pit. He was in that struggle. He was in that calamity. He was in that dark corner. He was in that tunnel. nothing to do. They've written him off. He was like a nobody, just like the way some people see us as nobody. We've been written off, family members, friends, because you are not doing the same thing. You are not at the same level with your peers, or with the level where society expects you to be. People write you off. People leave you in the well cold. Nobody wants to associate with you. They left you in the well cold. You are down below and they are looking above your head like, come out now. See you. You will say they like you. You will say now you men they like. See you. Ordinary married now, you know if you married. No, but we don't marry, leave you so. See you. You will say you know book. Ordinary jam you could not pass. See us now. We are in school. You are not in school. See you. One thing you don't jump. You don't go marry. Ordinary picking now you know if you born. No, but we born children full everywhere. So people may be speaking over your head. But you see that God that gave you that dream, that God that gave you that vision, that God that told you that I'm going to be with you. He has never left or forsaken you. He's still there with you. Even in that well, it is well inside the well. Joseph was sitting down there. He was listening to all the negotiation. They were bargaining on his head. They were about to send him to a country where he does not know anybody. He will be lonely. He was taken away from the man who loved him. I could imagine how he felt in that well with his clothes taken away, because that was the coat they took to the father to say white animal must have devoured him. So they took off his clothes. So maybe he was even sold into Egypt with bare body. There was no coat over his shoulder. There was no cloth over his shoulder. They took everything from him. Maybe they have taken everything from you. But God is still there. He's still watching. That God that has promised you, he's still there. He's still watching. They took him to Egypt. He got to Egypt. He became a slave in Egypt. He worked in Potiphar's house. He was thrown into prison. And then from prison, he became the prime minister. And then behold, one day, famine came. His brothers migrated from wherever they were living to go to Egypt to get some crops, to get some grains that they will use to come and feed. And when they got to Egypt, after many years, they could not recognize Joseph, but Joseph recognized his brothers. You know why? Because the brothers haven't changed. They didn't change, but Joseph has changed. He was no longer that boy without a shirt. He was no longer that little boy with maybe just a boxers. He was no longer that tiny little guy that they threw into the well. He was no longer that guy who was looking back and was thinking in his mind, what about my father? How will my father feel if he doesn't see me? He was no longer that guy. Joseph became a prime minister. He became a king. As in, he became a top man in the country where he was sent to. His brothers, when I saw that part, and he said, the brothers could not recognize him. Those people who has written you off, when they will see you again, they will not be able to recognize you. They will not know you. They will be asking, how did this person manage? When the anointing of God is upon your life, you know, the only thing I keep asking, when people do things to me, I don't hold them accountable. I just look at you. If I want to cut you off, I cut you off. If I want to set boundaries, I set boundaries. But I believe when oh my God, when something happens, I just say, God has a reason. If you were my friend and you decide to leave, whatever way you're living, quietly or noisily, you decide to leave, I'll say, God has a reason. If you betray me and leave, I say, God has a reason. If you had stayed, maybe you would have done something bad. So God has a reason. If God pull you out from something, from somewhere, from a group of friends, from a job, also, even if they sack you, my dear, believe that God has a reason. Why that thing had happened at that time? God has a reason. God has a plan. Our ways are not his ways. His ways are not our ways. The way he plans is not the way we plan. The way he does things is not the way we do things. He already knows us before we were born. He already has our plan. He already has the draft. He already has the map. He knows where we are going to pass. He said, and the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh because he already prepared Moses to come and take the children of Israel out from there. He would have left Pharaoh to be who Pharaoh was. No. He already has a plan. You think saying that Moses clear and Moses said do it 10 times. No, he has to be trained. And he cannot be trained in the palace because the bread and butter in the palace too much. God has to go and train him. Because Moses was born for a reason. He has his destiny. The destiny has been carved out for him. And his destiny cannot be fulfilled where he's a body. His destiny cannot be fulfilled where he's a soft boy. His destiny cannot be fulfilled where he's eating bread and butter. God has to take him away from the palace. God has to take him away from that place and take him to a place where he will be trained. Take, for example, if Moses was not even trained, maybe he would not have been able to take the children of Israel out of Egypt, where maybe God would have made another way. But you remember that Moses, when he wants to marry, he was supposed to use 7 years to get his wife. But the father-in-law made him use 14 years. They was teaching him patience, perseverance, how to hold on, how to wait, how to wait on the Lord, how to wait on something. That was what God was using the father-in-law to teach Moses. Moses had to be a shepherd. He has to be in the bush to help the father-in-law to take care of his cattle. Because God knows that he's going to take him through the wilderness. He's going to pass through the bush. God made him to do what he did so that he could leave the palace and go for his training. Yes, God has a reason. God has a plan. God has a plan. So, my lovelies, when people do things to you, when somebody does something to you, just believe that God have a plan. God have a reason. Keep still. Keep quiet. Ignore them. You see that one where they say silence speaks louder. That is what I do. I know they shout. You know, will catch me a person in the exchange word. I won't shout. When you do something to me, if I can talk to you about it and let's talk about it, yes, I will do. But if I see that you're not ready, if I start telling you what you have done to me, it will make us to start exchanging word. I will leave you. I will leave you because I know that, one, God has a reason. Two, somehow, the person will come back to regret it. And maybe at that time, me, I've moved on. When things happen like this in your life, when things happen the way you on your own, you may not even understand why there is turbulence. You may not even understand why you're in an unsettled water. But in all of it, when you are praying, when you are in that challenge and you're praying, or whatever you're doing, whichever way you are using to access God, just let him know. Just tell him that he should not allow you pass through this thing without you gaining what you're supposed to gain from it. Yes. Even in our heart, we can gain something. Even in our dark times, we can gain something. We may be in training for the greater glory. You don't know. You don't know. So, my people, this year we are going to start in the positive notes. We are going to believe that for whatever that is happening, God has a plan. We're going to go in this year telling God that he should show us mercy. Because he said, I will show mercy to who? I will show mercy. We'll ask him for mercy. He said, Esau I love, Jacob I hate. Now you know why. We'll ask for him to love us. Because if he does, even if we pass through temptation, he has not said in his word that we are not going to pass through temptation. He said when we pass through the fire, that he's going to pass through it with us. He no promise us silver and bread and butter. He tell us, so long as you dare life, challenges must come. He said, when you pass through the fire, I will pass through it with you. Meaning when he passes through it with you, he will shield you from the heat of the fire. But you will still know that you are passing through the fire. He will pass through it with you. When the challenges will come, the Lord will hold your hands. Precious Lord, hold my hand. Lead me home. He will hold your hands and he will take you through. And at the end, you will smile. You will smile and your enemies will come and bow down for you. They will come and want to eat from your table. They will come and call you master. They will call you and say to you, your servant is here, oh master. Just let God, just ignore people. leave them and let God. That time you want to use to keep malice. That time you want to use to start thinking, what did this person do me in a bad time? It used to happen to me too. That time I said this person did something to me that really hurt me. Do you know that for 2 days I was not productive? For 2 whole days I was not productive. If my YouTube video I think I'll do it for be something. For 2 whole days I forgot to pick extra shift, but I did not. I could not move. For 1 day, from morning to evening, I was wearing my pajamas. That is what those kind of things do to you. It will keep you in one place. You'll be thinking, you'll be rehearsing the thing. Oh, this person did this thing. Oh, that person, he did this thing. You will not want to move forward. Like I said to you, it hurts. But in all of it, God has a reason. God should let us see why he allowed us to pass through that fire that he has passed through with us. Thank you guys for watching my video. Have a lovely night rest. I'm so tired and I have work tomorrow morning.